Welcome, MAT user community. My name is Chandra Bartleman, RN BSN. I'm the Health Informatics Service Coordinator for the MAT project. Thank you for attending today's webinar. You will be provided important information about the integration of the Measure Authoring Tool and Value Set Authority Center, or VSAC. The MAT and VSAC integration is another great example of two entities who are better together. Together, the MAT and VSAC will significantly contribute to improved quality and outcomes in healthcare. After the November 22, 2013 MAT version 3.0.0 release, the VSAC will be the sole repository and tool for authoring and validating value sets. You will have an opportunity to ask questions after the slide presentation and live demonstration of the new MAT features and enhancements. This presentation is being recorded and will be posted to YouTube. Until the question and answer time frame, your lines will be muted. I've created a measure titled MATv3.0.0 Training Measure. This measure will be used for the screen prints and used in the slide presentation. The screen prints used in the slide presentation and be used in the live demonstration. This is not a real measure. It's been created only to demonstrate the new functionality within the MAT. During this 50-minute presentation, you will view 41 additional slides and a 15-minute live demonstration of the MAT tool. The slide number is displayed on the bottom right-hand corner of each slide, and there will be a total of 53 slides. This webinar will include a brief history of the Value Set Authority Center and how it relates to the MAT, and a review of MAT VSAC integration features. Specific tasks to be reviewed include how to integrate with VSAC from the MAT, how to retrieve value sets from VSAC when building QDM elements, how to build QDM elements with or without VSAC value set data, and how to ensure the VSAC value set data are included as part of the measure package and exported materials. In addition, you will review MAT enhancements unrelated to the integration implemented since the last release and watch a live demonstration of these enhancements and the integration features within the MAT. At the conclusion of the presentation, you'll be able to identify current resources available as you work through the new process for incorporating value sets into your measures, and be provided an opportunity to ask questions to MAT team members. What is VSAC? VSAC is the Value Set Authority Center. VSAC is provided by the National Library of Medicine, NLM, in collaboration with the Office of the National Coordinator for Health Information Technology, ONC, and the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, CMS. VSAC's website was first published October 25, 2012. As stated on the VSAC website, the VSAC provides search, retrieval, and download capabilities for value sets and assures ongoing validity and accuracy of value sets. In September 2013, beta testing for authoring value sets was initiated. Then, in October of this year, value set authoring was made publicly available in the VSAC, thus providing tools for users to create value sets. The VSAC provides downloadable access to value sets contained in the 2014 Meaningful Use Clinical Quality Measures and is actively incorporating new value sets for other use cases, new measures, and updating existing measures. Discussions for integrating the VSAC with the MAT began even before VSAC was first published. The Value Set Authority Center is able to validate existing value sets used for measure development. Value sets, which have undergone the rigorous evaluation offered by VSAC, improve the integrity of the measures being produced in the MAT. VSAC has the expertise and resources as a result of belonging to NLM. NLM is an organization with a rich history of advancing medicine with its management of print and electronic resources. The MAT uses an API, or Application Programming Interface, to communicate with VSAC to allow the retrieval of value set data. VSAC value sets retrieved through the API are utilized in the creation of QDM Elements, which are the building blocks of an electronic quality measure. The MAT's continued mission is to be the premier web-based tool used by measure developers to author electronic clinical quality measures using the quality data model. The MAT and VSAC integration is the beginning of a smart relationship marking progress towards the successful creation and implementation of quality measures. We will now transition our discussion to the integration features that will be included in the upcoming release. A measure authoring tool user account and a unified medical language system license are required to fully utilize the integration features within the MAT. To retrieve value sets from VSAC through the MAT, you must possess a UMLS license. If you do not currently have a UMLS license, you are strongly encouraged to complete the required steps to obtain a license prior to the MAT release. Obtaining a UMLS license can exceed 3 business days, and you will not be able to access value sets from VSAC until this license is obtained. Value set data previously created, maintained, and stored in the MAT will be available in VSAC by the November 22nd MAT release. In order to integrate with VSAC, MAT users will first log into the MAT from the MAT public website using their MAT username and password. After a successful login to the MAT, you will automatically be navigated to the new UMLS account tab. You are prompted to enter your UMLS username and password immediately after successfully logging into the MAT. Once your UMLS license credentials are authenticated, you will see a green button in the words UMLS Active in the upper right-hand corner of the page. You will be issued an 8-hour ticket, which allows you to retrieve value set data from VSAC as long as your MAT session is maintained. If you do not sign into your UMLS account, you are still able to navigate and use tools within the MAT, but you will not be permitted to retrieve VSAC value set data. The value set library is renamed to Value Set Archive. Value set data previously created, stored, and maintained in the MAT will continue to exist in the Value Set Archive. The value set data stored within the value set archive will be viewable. However, the create, edit, and clone functions have been disabled. After the release, new, existing, and updated value set data will be retrieved from VSAC. You are still given the option to export an individual value set from the MAT. Several of the new integration features are located in the QDM Elements subtab of the Measure Composer. The QDM Elements subtab, Available Value Sets, is changed to Create Element. Within the Create Element subtab of the QDM Elements, you will be provided 2 paths for QDM element creation. You may build and apply a QDM element with a VSAC value set, or build and apply a QDM element without a VSAC value set. When entering the QDM Element subtab, you will instantly see the fields for retrieving a VSAC value set. When building a QDM element using a VSAC value set, enter the OID for the desired value set, specify a specific version if applicable, or specify a value set effective date if applicable. Selecting a specific version or value set effective date is optional. The OID for the desired value set, however, is required. Value set data is retrieved from VSAC through an API. Therefore, you must have an active connection to VSAC to retrieve value set data. The value set data returned from VSAC includes the name, OID, code system, type, version, steward, and status. Once you've verified that this is the desired value set you wish to use for your measure, you may select a category and data type, select a specific occurrence if applicable, and apply the QDM element to the selected measure. The second option for building a QDM element is to build a QDM element without a VSAC value set. To create a QDM without a VSAC value set, you will supply a temporary name for the QDM element, then select the desired category and data type. The QDM element will appear in the Applied Elements list, but will not reference VSAC value set data. You do not need to have an active connection to VSAC to create a QDM element without a VSAC value set. Within the QDM Elements subtab, Applied Elements, MAT users can modify applied elements or update the applied elements with VSAC value set data. A few examples of modifications include adding a VSAC value set to a QDM element previously created without a value set, changing the category and or data type of a previously created QDM element, or adding or removing an occurrence from a QDM element. When initiating an update from VSAC, MAT users will be able to capture any changes made to a value set applied to a measure. For example, if a value set name has changed in VSAC, by selecting Update from VSAC in the Applied Elements subtab, the new value set name will appear in the MAT. If a value set effective date or version has been selected, then the value set data will remain unchanged. The most recent version of all the value sets applied to the measure are retrieved, unless a version or effective date is specified for a given value set. The data displayed for an applied element is expanded and will now include the value set name or temporary element name, QDM element category, QDM element data type, occurrence if applicable, the value set OID, the value set version, and the value set effective date if applicable. In addition to the UMLS logging features and the additional functionality within the QDM Element subtab, Measure Packager has also undergone a makeover. Within Measure Packager, you will notice you will no longer be required to include a value set package date, and you will have the option to create a measure package with or without VSAC data. The measure package will be created more quickly in cases where you do not retrieve VSAC data. This option can be used to review measure logic quickly. Including VSAC value set data in your measure package may result in additional loading time as the value set data is being retrieved from VSAC. Again, you must have an active connection to VSAC to retrieve value set data. If you're creating a measure package to simply look at your measure logic, then it's appropriate to package the measure without VSAC data. Your measure export will contain the simple XML, the human readable. However, the value set Excel spreadsheet will be empty as no VSAC value set data will have been retrieved. If you are creating a package for the purposes of posting or reporting on a measure, then you will be required to package your measure with VSAC value set data. When including VSAC value set data, your export will contain the simple XML, the human readable, and the value set Excel spreadsheet with the most recent version, specified version, or specified effective date of the value sets used within the measure. Again, only the value sets retrieved from VSAC and used in the measure will appear in the value set Excel spreadsheet. Additional MAT enhancements unrelated to the VSAC MAT integration are also included in the upcoming MAT release. You will see the addition of measure notes. In the measure library, the Create and Search tool performs the same functions but has an updated look. In Clause Workspace, a validation button is added to identify timings and relationships without a left-hand side and right-hand side. And finally, a security enhancement is added that will decrease the amount of time before an idle session will time out. MAT users will now have the ability to create notes within a specific measure. The measure notes will be entered into specific measures with a title and description, can be modified or removed, can be exported in a CSV file, and be duplicated when cloning a measure. These notes will be viewable by all MAT users unless privacy has been designated. You will be given an option to include a descriptive title up to 50 characters and then include measure comments up to 3,000 characters per measure note. There are no restrictions as to the number of measure notes you include. The functionality of the measure library has not changed, but the Create and Search options look different. To create a new measure, measure version of a draft, or draft of an existing measure, you will click on the folder icon in the upper right-hand corner of the page, and then select the desired option. To perform a search in Measure Library, you will select the search icon in the upper right-hand corner, then perform a search using a keyword, or further filter your results by selecting My Measures or All Measures. Within the clause workspace, a validation button has been added. By selecting the validation button, all incomplete timings and or relationships will be highlighted. If you have a timing or relationship within your measure logic that does not include both the left-hand side and right-hand side, these segments of measure logic will be highlighted in red. In this example, there is one timing and one relationship with incomplete measure logic. After adding the missing components of the timing or relationship, you can select the Validate button again. They will no longer appear in red once the missing components of the measure logic is added. A new security enhancement has been implemented. Your MAT session will be timed out after 30 minutes of inactivity. You will receive a warning message at 25 minutes once the MAT session is discontinued. The UMLS session will be simultaneously discontinued. At this time, I will log into the MAT and provide you with a live demonstration of the integration features and new functionality to be included in the upcoming release. When you sign into the MAT, you will immediately notice a change in the initial screen. The names of the tabs have changed. Excuse me. As you can see, the names of the tabs have changed. After the MAT release, you will see Value Set Archive, Measure Library, Measure Composer, MAT Account, and UMLS Account tabs. In the upper right-hand corner of the page, you will see a red dot and text stating UMLS inactive. This indicates that you are not currently signed into VSAC. Once you have signed into VSAC via the MAT, a green dot will display and the text UMLS active will appear. Instead of being routed to the Value Set Library tab, you will now be automatically routed to the UMLS Account tab and be provided the opportunity to log into VSAC using your UMLS credentials. At this time, I will enter my UMLS account credentials. A green success ribbon will then display confirming a successful login. If you're inserting the incorrect credentials, you will receive a message that states login failed. Please sign in again. Notice also that the green dot and UMLS active text is displayed. It's not a requirement to be logged into UMLS to use the MAT. However, you will be unable to retrieve VSAC value set data if you're not logged into your UMLS account. To navigate from the UMLS account page, select the tab you would like to visit. VSAC is now the sole repository for authoring and maintaining value sets. The measure authoring tool following the release will no longer provide the tools to author or maintain value sets. You may still export individual value sets, but you will not be able to create, edit, or clone a value set within the MAT. The Value Set Archive tab was formerly called Value Set Library. Notice the Create option and Clone function have been removed. In addition, editing capabilities are disabled. This is signified by all fields displayed after selecting a value set being grayed out. You will continue to be able to export a single value set from the MAT. As a reminder, to export a single value set from the MAT, you perform the following steps. From the Value Set Archive tab, identify the value set you wish to export. Click on the export icon in the last column, and then you will be provided with the option to open or save the value set in an Excel file. As of the November MAT release, you will no longer be able to create, edit, or clone a value set within the MAT. You must use the Value Set Authority Center to perform these functions. The MAT will allow you to retrieve the value set data within VSAC. Notice within the Measure library the new look for the Create tool and Search tool. To create a measure, select the Create folder in the upper right-hand corner of the page, and then select a new measure, measure version of a draft, or draft of an existing measure from the drop-down, and then click the Create button. To perform a search in Measure Library, select the search icon, enter a keyword, and/or use the drop-down box to further filter your results by selecting My Measure or All Measures. I'm looking for My Training Measure, so I will insert the word Training. After selecting my desired measure, I'm navigated to Measure Composer. The subtabs are Measure Details, QDM Elements, Clause Workspace, Measure Packager, and the new Measure Notes. You will continue to be directed to the Measure Details after selecting a measure from the Measure Library. There are no changes to the Measure Details since the last MAT release. We will now shift our focus to the new features found within Measure Composer that support the MAT and VSAC integration. The QDM Elements subtab has changed significantly. Create Element replaces Available Value Set subtab, and the Applied Elements tab name remains the same. The Create Element page automatically displays once QDM Element tab is selected. And then within Create Element tab, you will have two options. Create a QDM element with a VSAC value set, or create a QDM element without a VSAC value set. First, let's look at how to create an element with a VSAC value set. First, verify that you're logged into VSAC by verifying the green button in UMLS Active in the upper right-hand corner of the page. You must be signed into VSAC to successfully retrieve your value set data. Enter the OID you wish to retrieve. I am entering the OID for diastolic blood pressure, grouping value set. I am not entering a version or effective date, but when retrieving a specific version or effective date of a value set, you would select the corresponding checkbox and then use the calendar to select the date. By not entering a specific value set, effective date, or version, when the measure is packaged, the most recent version of this value set will be retrieved. Select the search button and the following information will be retrieved. The value set name, OID, the value set name, the OID, the code system, the type, version, effective date, steward, and status. After verifying that this is the intended value set, select the desired category and data type and specific occurrence if applicable. Within the data type dropdown, all category and data type combinations are listed. For this measure, I will select Physical Exam Finding. Next, I will select the yellow Apply to Measure button at the bottom of the page. You You will receive a success message in a green ribbon across the top of the page stating that the QDM element has been added successfully. The QDM element will now appear in the list of applied elements in the Applied Elements subtab. New with this release is the ability to create a QDM element without a VSAC value set. This allows you to continue to develop measure logic whether or not you are successfully logged into VSAC and have the desired value set identified to complete the measure logic. To do so, select the element without VSAC value set option. You will be provided a text box to name your QDM element. Type the name that you would like to appear in the clause workspace to identify this QDM element. Next, select the category and data type you wish to use to develop your measure logic in the Select Data Type dropdown to the right of the QDM element name. I will select Encounter Performed. Next, select the yellow Apply to Measure button. You have now added Undefined Encounter, Encounter Performed, and will receive a green success message above the Apply to Measure button. The QDM element will appear in the Applied Elements list with the naming provided and be available for use in the clause workspace. Within the Applied Elements subtab of the QDM Elements tab, you will see the addition, in addition to removing and modifying functions, that you can now update value sets from VSAC. By selecting Update from VSAC, you will be retrieving the most recent data and version associated with your value sets from VSAC, except where you have specified that value set effective date or version to be represented in your measure. To update the value sets with the current VSAC data, verify that you are logged into VSAC, select the Update from VSAC button to the right of the Modify button at the bottom of the Applied Elements subtab, and again, you will receive a confirmation message at the top of the page once your value sets are updated. You are still able to delete any unused QDM elements in the Applied Element list. To do so, select the element you would like to remove, and then select the gray Remove button. You will receive a success message at the top of the page. To modify an existing applied element, select the QDM element you wish to modify. In this case, I would like to modify the Undefined Encounter, Encounter Performed QDM element we just created. Now I have the option of selecting either element with VSAC value set or element without VSAC value set. For the purposes of this demonstration, I will be modifying this element to now include a VSAC value set. Enter the OID of the VSAC value set you would now like to use. In this example, I do not wish to specify an effective date or a version. I just always want to be able to use the most recent version of this value set. The OID entered is titled Office Visit, which is the value set I would like to use for this example. Again, I'm going to select the data type Encounter Performed and not select a specific occurrence, and then apply my modified element to the measure. Again, I will have received a success message. Next, you will close out of this Modify window by selecting the X to the top right-hand corner of the page. The Applied Element list now shows office visit encounter performed, if the QDM element has been used in the measure logic, then the QDM element will also be updated where it was used in the measure logic. A validate button has been added to the clause workspace. The purpose of the validate button is to identify where a timing or a relationship is incomplete. Recall, timings and relationships require both left-hand side and right-hand side logic to be valid. In this case, the logic that I've currently developed is complete, so I'm going to actually delete a segment for the purposes of demonstrating this function to you. Now I'm going to move down to use the validate button in clause workspace and to see if there is incomplete timings or relationships within the logic that's been developed. Notice that there is, in fact, measure logic that's incomplete, and a warning message is displayed. That incomplete timing is highlighted in red. Once I've identified that incomplete timing, I can go in and make a correction or addition as is necessary. Save my changes, and then validate to be assured that I've made the corrections I intended. So this, again, is confirming that my measure logic validation has been successful. In addition to the validate button, you will also notice a change in what is listed in the QDM element list box. Measurement end date, measurement period, and measurement start date are now pre-populated in the QDM element list box, as they do not have OIDs and you would not be able to add them from VSAC. When working in clause workspace, also remember, if you've updated a value set name in VSAC, the updated name will not appear in clause workspace or the applied element list unless you've selected update from VSAC, which again, that button is located in the Applied Elements subtab within QDM Elements. Prior to exporting a measure, you will want to create a measure package. This action has not changed. However, you will notice some changes when you enter the Measure Package screen. The Measure Packager tab still displays the Create New Grouping button, the section to select population clauses that are to be included in your measure package, and a section for selecting supplemental data elements. The patient characteristics of ethnicity, sex, payer, and race continue to be populated in the supplemental data elements by default. Notice you are no longer required to select a value set package date. The most recent version of the value set will be included in the package unless you've specified a version or value set effective date when retrieving the value set while creating your QDM element. Once you've created your desired grouping, you may initiate packaging your measure. You have two options: to create a measure package which includes your VSAC value sets, or create a package without VSAC value sets. Including your VSAC value sets will increase your loading time, but it will also include all VSAC data. If you do not select the Include VSAC Value Set Data checkbox, you'll still be able to view the human readable and or the simple XML to review measure logic, but the value set Excel spreadsheet will not be complete. If the measure package is made without selecting this checkbox, the loading time may be reduced. Selecting the Include VSAC Value Set checkbox will retrieve the VSAC data included in your measure, and the simple XML, human readable, and value set Excel spreadsheet will be available upon export. Only VSAC value sets displayed in the value set only VSAC value sets will display in the value set Excel spreadsheet. You will see a loading, please wait message, as the process of retrieving VSAC updates may take some additional time. You are still able to create a measure package if you're not signed into your UMLS account. However, the value sets will not be updated at the time the measure package was created, and the export may not reflect the most recent updates and versions of value sets. You will receive a message once the measure is packaged successfully, and then you may proceed to the measure library to export your measure. To export your measure, select the name of the measure you wish to export, and then select the export icon or checkbox in the last column of that row. Determine if you would like to export the simple XML, the e-measure or human readable, or the value set Excel spreadsheet, or all three. You will select the radio button to the left of the desired export format. Then open or save your exported measure. Keep in mind that user-defined QDM elements, or those elements created without retrieving VSAC value sets, will display in the human readable, but will not be listed in the value set Excel spreadsheet. The value set Excel spreadsheet will only display VSAC value sets used within the measure. At this time, I will demonstrate the Measure Note feature. Again, select the Measure Library tab, and then to add a measure note to the existing measure, follow these steps. Select the name of the measure for which you would like to add a comment. For the purposes of this demonstration, I'll add a measure note to our training measure. Select the Measure Note sub-tab within Measure Composer. Once you've selected the measure notes, you'll have the opportunity to title your measure note, and then in the description field, add your desired comments. I will enter the measure note title and description. Select Save. After selecting Save, you will receive a success message and now see the measure note title, email of the last user to modify the note, the last modified date and time, and a delete and edit icon. If you want to view the content of a specific note, select the arrow in the edit column to expand the note. To collapse the note, reselect the arrow in the edit column. You may also edit the title or description of the note. To do so, you enter the updated text in the title or the description fields and select Save. Notice that the measure note title has now been modified and displays sample note A. To delete a measure note, select the delete icon for the note you wish to remove. You will receive a success message again, confirming that your note has been deleted. The button in the top left-hand corner of the measure notes page allows you to export all existing measure notes as a CSV file. All existing measure notes will be included in the CSV file and include the measure note title, the measure note description, the last modified date and time, the measure note creator, and the last modified user. This concludes the live demonstration of the new integration features and additional MAT enhancements since the last measure authoring tool release. In review, several changes have been made to the existing tab and subtabs available within the MAT. The Value Set Library has been renamed to Value Set Archive. My Account tab has been renamed to MAT Account, and the UMLS Account tab is added. The subtabs of QDM Elements are now named Create Element and Applied Elements. Measure Composer now has 5 tabs with the addition of Measure Notes. The Value Set Archive displays value sets previously created, stored, and maintained in the MAT. They are now read-only, and create, edit, and cloning functions have been disabled. You may still export a single value set from the MAT to an Excel file, and all value set authoring, maintenance, and storage now occurs solely in VSAC. The Create and Search tools in the Measure Library look different, but the functions of creating a new measure, measure version of a draft, or draft of an existing measure, and searching for a measure within the Measure Library remain unchanged. The measure details of the Measure Composer also remains unchanged. By entering your UMLS account credentials when you are logging into the MAT, you are activating the API which allows you to retrieve VSAC value set data. After the MAT version 3.0.0 release, you will be able to build QDM elements with VSAC value set data, create a QDM element with a value set, and specify a version or effective date if applicable. You're also able to build a QDM element without VSAC value set data, modify existing QDM elements with or without VSAC data, and update the VSAC value set data applied to a measure. Within Claude Workspace, you will be able to verify that timing and relationships are complete by performing a validation. Incomplete timings will appear highlighted in red. Remember, you will be prevented from packaging your measure if you have incomplete timings or relationships. Timing elements will be pre-populated in the QDM element list box, since they do not have an OID and cannot be retrieved from VSAC. Measure Packager has additional changes. You will still need to create your desired groupings for your measure and add or remove supplemental data elements, but you're no longer required to enter a value set package date. You will have the option to include VSAC value set data in your measure package, or you can bypass the retrieval of VSAC data. If you select the Include Value Set Data checkbox, the most recent version of a value set will be included in the measure package unless a version or value set effective date is specified. The value set Excel spreadsheet will be blank at the time of measure export if you do not include VSAC data. Finally, the Measure Notes tab is added to the Measure Composer, allowing MAT users to add notes to their measures. As a reminder, and remember, after 30 minutes of inactivity in the MAT, your session will be timed out. This will also discontinue your connection to VSAC, so you will be required to log into the MAT after your UMLS account again. The following resources are available to you as you work in the MAT after the new changes take effect. The MAT website will provide helpful hints and links to additional resources. VSAC's website provides information about value sets and guidance for authoring value sets. The user guide will be updated to reflect changes included in the release, and it will provide expanded instruction beyond what was covered today during the live demonstration. Detailed release notes will be posted following the release. The MAT Help Desk support team will continue to provide support, and a YouTube recording of today's presentation will be made available to you. Thank you for your attendance and participation in the question and answer session. Please submit unanswered questions to the Measure Authoring Tool Help Desk at support@emeasuretool.org. All MAT users will be notified by email when the presentation is available for view on YouTube. Helen Keller is quoted as saying, "Alone we can do so little, together we can do so much. Together VSAC and MAT will do so much." This marks the conclusion of Better Together, the MAT and VSAC integration webinar.